So all my people out there, this is Mr. NiiMer. So I really wanted to talk about this. If you are new to this channel, this is literally my official or my first video onto this channel. I've been posting a bunch of AI slops and all that, but I actually want to transition into this thing. So again, my name is Mr. NiiMer, or you can call me NiiMer. Um, I am kind of not new to this. I used to host a tech show on YFM in Ghana, and I will literally be talking about things like this. This has been something that has been on my mind for a while because it took me back to my days, and I just wanted to make a video on that. I literally am doing this like stream style, so most of these videos I wouldn't even be on camera or on screen. I'm just going to kind of like go through things and then talk about it because I actually like talking about tech. I actually want to go back to that because back in my day, I used to do a whole bunch of research just because of certain things I had wanted to talk about. So I want to go back to this. Now, this is to my Game Boys. My Game Boys out there. If you're listening or watching from Niger, then this will be like your Yahoo Yahoo boy. But this is to my Game Boys out there. Now I saw something. I think I saw this on Instagram. So this is literally my Instagram. So if you are out there, you are watching this, follow me. It's MrNiiMerGeeks. So there it is. MrNiiMerGeeks. MrNiiMerGeeks. So I remember seeing this on Instagram. I remember I saved it, but well, let's see if we were able to find it. GDID hacker FBI. Yeah, that didn't work. What's happening? I remember being told that uh, the Instagram search is now better, but I think this isn't good at all. If I think maybe if it was on the app, this would have been better. But hey, let's go. So again, this is to my Game Boys out there. So everybody knows these Game Boys, but this when I saw this on Instagram, this took me back to my days in Dansoman. So if you don't know Dansoman, Dansoman is a suburb in Accra, and Accra is the capital city of Ghana. Now, when I was in Dansoman, I remember this was like maybe when maybe 2008, 2009, 2010 back then, and the thing with most of the boys in Dansoman was this whole game thing. Now, this whole game thing, I remember, most I think, what was it? I think people were using what Windows 7. I think it was Windows 7. Yeah. It was Windows 7. So, whenever you wanted to go into this whole game thing, you needed to get a laptop, you needed to get internet connection, and then you needed to get a VPN. So a VPN was very, very important. So anybody out there, the VPN was really, really important. So let's see what is a VPN. So according to Google, so a VPN or a virtual private network is a security tool that creates a private encrypted tunnel for your internet traffic. It hides your real IP address and replaces it with one from a remote server, making it much harder for hackers, advertisers, or your internet provider to track what you do online. So literally, that was what you had to get a VPN. Because what basically the VPN did for Game Boys was just as this thing is saying, instead of your PC's IP address being tracked, it was going to be the server or the VPN server's IP address that would have been tracked if anything happened. So that was the thing with Game Boys back then. So now, back in Danceman, yeah, you would have to get a laptop, and most of the boys that I knew, this was the thing. You had to get a laptop, get Windows on it, get a VPN, and then get your internet connection, and then you would start. I think literally the modus operandi, someone would say, would be the chatting. So yeah, you literally chat someone, and then if you hit or your luck comes through, then maybe the person will send you something, and then now boys will start buying the cars and then dressing flashy and all that kind of stuff. So when I saw this took me back to those days, like the 2007, sorry. So 2007, not 27, 2007, 2008, 2000, 2010, back then. So the main story is, or literally, if you would want to like actually check up on this, you can actually Google this. So Microsoft GDID and then hacker. So the story literally reads, the FBI arrested an alleged member of the Scattered Spider hacking group by tracking his PC's persistent Microsoft Global Device Identifier, so the GDID, despite the hacker using a VPN to mask his real IP address. Microsoft's hidden telemetry successfully logged his device's unique identifier and linked it to his online activity and accounts. Right? So there is this has been something that since Windows 11 came out, it's something I've been trying to kind of like hack or get rid of. So there's this thing called the Windows telemetry. So let's search that too. So Windows telemetry, or okay, yeah, so Windows telemetry. So Windows telemetry is Microsoft's built-in system for automatically collecting and transmitting diagnostic and usage data from your computer to their servers. While Microsoft uses this data to track bugs, improve system security, and boost performance, many privacy-conscious users prefer to minimize or disable it. Because of telemetry, or because telemetry is heavily integrated into the operating system, you cannot completely turn it off on all versions of Windows without third-party tools. However, you can severely restrict it or severely restrict it, restrict what it is shared or what is shared and disable background telemetry services. So this is something that I've also been kind of thinking about, as in how do you disable this? But literally what GDID does is it uses this thing as its, let's say, foundation to sort of like push information out there. So let's see if you can actually find the story. So I remember, yeah, PC, use Microsoft, yeah. So okay, now there's actually a video that I have that I would like to play. So let's play that video. This video is from a YouTuber called Linus. So Linus has this podcast uh, that they literally just talk about current things in tech. He does this with his partner. I've forgotten his name, but this guy is literally like this is Linus. Linus owns Linus Tech Tips. He started as a content creator for, I think, a PC brand, and then he switched and then started his own YouTube. He has been out there for a while. I started following him like for a very long time now. Actually, so he has Linus Tech Tips, and then he actually started off with this guy on the right. Not necessarily started off. So there's, I think his name is Brandon also, but he started off with a video guy, and then they used to like publish and then do YouTube videos in, I think, his kitchen or something. But then this guy is one of the earliest employees to Linus Media Group. So his company is called Linus Media Group, and then this guy is like literally one of the earliest employers. So this guy is actually handling. I think they have a platform where it's like YouTube. It's kind of like YouTube, but they have a platform where they put most of their tech videos on there for like people who subscribe to that platform, and then later they release most of the videos on YouTube. So this guy is kind of like handling that. So they have this podcast. I think it's called, yeah, it's not, it's called the One Show. So one as in wide area network. So the One Show. So let's listen to what they have to say.
Microsoft admitting to the existence of a secret global device identifier, or GDID, that was revealed after U.S. prosecutors unsealed a federal complaint regarding alleged hacker Peter Stokes, who was wanted in connection with the 2025 breach of a U.S. luxury jewelry retailer. According to the complaint, Microsoft provided the FBI with a way to trace Stokes' Windows PC across VPNs and proxy servers through 3 countries.
Yeah. So with proxy servers too, let's search for that. So again, back in the day, you would have to actually, I think you either buy logins to these VPN and proxy servers for you to be able to use them. So a proxy server acts as an intermediary gateway between your device and the internet. So routing your request through an alternative IP address. So it helps. Okay. So a proxy server acts as an intermediary gateway between your device and the internet, routing your request through an alternative IP address. It helps you bypass geo restrictions and maintain anonymity, scrape data without getting blocked, and secure network traffic. So yeah, literally, back in the day, you would have to buy a VPN, and then I remember a proxy server. So you set up the proxy server, and then connect to that, and then the VPN, and then back then we thought we were safe, but from this story of Peter Stokes, it shows that we are not safe. So let's go back to the video.
This is fucking crazy.
Yeah, Linus. Yeah, he's vulgar.
Seriously, guys, I'm not being all hyperbolic here. I'm not being all like conspiracy theory. Where's my tinfoil hat? Keep the radio waves out of my brain. This is a serious problem. A Microsoft representative explained GDID in the complaint as, this is a quote, a persistent device level identifier that is designed to uniquely identify an installation of Windows operating system on a device, either a physical device, e.g., mobile phone or laptop, or virtual machine across certain Microsoft services and scenarios. End of quote. According to the story posted by Windows Latest, Microsoft uses it to manage software licensing and Windows Store apps. But because it links all your online activities on that computer back to one single identity, law enforcement can use it to track a device's true owner across the internet.
So, literally, what is being said here by Linus is, whenever you do an installation on any machine that you are using, so let's say this machine I'm using to stream or do this video, for instance, the installation on here, there is a global device identifier or identity ID, right? So now with this ID, everything that I have been doing on the internet with this machine, everything is linked to that GDID. And another thing that Linus mentioned from the article too is, even if it's a virtual machine, so let's say this is machine, I have Windows installed on it. This installation of Windows has its own GDID. Now when I create a virtual, right, when I create a virtual machine on this same machine and then I do another installation, that also has it, right? So now anytime that I do anything, Microsoft is actually monitoring these two GDIDs. So everything that I do in the virtual machine is also linked to that GDID of the virtual machine, and then anything I do on this machine whilst I'm online. So everything is online. I don't think that is why maybe I wanted, or we went through the Windows telemetry thing. So if Windows telemetry is literally just collecting data of things that is happening on this machine, that means that it is also passing that information to your GDID. So this means that even from whatever Linus is saying in this video, whatever you do in a virtual machine, everything is being linked. But then whatever you are doing on your machine too. So let's say you install the um, virtual machine operating like software. So let's say maybe something like Parallel or maybe something like VMware, right? You install these two. So that means now Windows knows that, oh, he installed Parallels or he installed VMware, and maybe this is how the software is working on Windows. So these are the diagnosis, these are the data from the software, so that at least Microsoft will know that, oh, okay, when you install Parallels on Windows, maybe this is how it works. This is how we can fine tune things. This is how we can do things and all that kind of stuff. So it means that sometimes you might feel like, okay, this GDID, because it's your activity online, it's still linking even things that you are doing hardware wise on your machine, not online. So any things you are doing on your machine offline is even still being linked to the GDID. So let's go back to the video.
Now, reinstalling Windows does generate a new global device identifier. So it doesn't stay with you forever. But because all of this is being fed back to Microsoft, the second that you sign in to another account that you were signed into on the old machine, it's linked. And they would be able to resolve both of those GDIDs to one individual person.
So yeah, like I was saying, if you have a machine, you do your installation, you start using it for a whole bunch of things, you start going online, the GDID and all the information of the machine is being fed to Microsoft. So Microsoft knows that, let's say maybe the GDID of this machine I'm using is, let's say, 2. Everything I'm doing is being uh, stick or everything I'm doing is being linked to the GDID 2 in their database. Now let's say I install a virtual machine, and then on the virtual machine it creates a new GDID and I start doing a whole bunch of things. Maybe that the moment I go online and then start doing a whole bunch of things, there's a possibility of me being linked. So those two, the virtual machine and then my main machine, there's a possibility of those two activities being linked to one GDID, or maybe they will realize, oh, okay, there's a GDID doing this whole bunch of things, but let's say he signed into YouTube in the virtual machine. Wait, so if there's a new GDID, but then there's a similar maybe website that this person has logged into with the same credential, then there's a possibility that these two GDIDs are from one person. So this means that, again, to my Game Boys, nobody is safe.
Is this like a huge GDPR problem?
I'm not sure. Hold on.
Feels like
not
it.
Quite done yet. The story states that when investigators hit a dead end tracing IPs to VPN providers, Microsoft themselves provided the FBI with records showing what Stokes' device was doing. The Windows latest story has some suggestions on how you might maintain your privacy, and there's a full reverse engineering analysis from GitHub user Sometimes Wonder if you really want to get into the weeds. So Dan, if you could throw that link into the chat for all the wonderful folks who are watching today. And now it's time for us to discuss. Like, look.
Okay, so from what he's saying, on GitHub, there's someone called Wonder. I don't know if you'll be able to find it. I didn't really get the name. So if you sometimes wonder, I am alive. Sometimes wonder. Let's go back to the video.
I really want to get into the weeds. So Dan, if you could throw some suggestions on how you might maintain your privacy, and there's a full reverse engineering analysis from GitHub user Sometimes Wonder if you really want to get into the weeds. So Dan, if you could throw that link into the chat for all the wonderful folks who are watching today. And now it's time for us to discuss. Like, look, I am not a ne'er-do-well. In general, I have taken a pretty loose approach to the trackability of my devices. I'm a public figure. I mean, it just kind of comes with the territory.
So what Linus is saying there is, yeah, he's a public figure, so most of the things that he's going to do, at least even if when it comes to his privacy, everyone is going to know about it. But this is a Game Boy in Ghana. A Game Boy in Ghana, you literally are not a public figure. You're actually doing this thing in hiding. Again, back in the day, you could literally go into maybe a compound, someone's room, and then the only thing the person has there is maybe a table with a laptop and a chair, and then maybe a mattress on the floor or something. That was literally the hookup. And then all you had to do was just be by the PC every time, chatting people, and then using these proxies and these VPNs, and then maybe buying logins of maybe credit cards and then credit card numbers and all that kind of stuff, and then shopping, and then because I remember back in the day, it was these two things. It was either you are chatting someone and then you got lucky and then the person will send you money, or you were using again the VPNs and these proxy servers to actually buy um, credit card numbers, and then using those credit card numbers to buy things off the internet, off Amazon, off eBay, off wherever it is you could buy things, and then probably fingers crossed, pray that your shipping address won't be tracked, and then everything will be shipped to Ghana, and then when it gets to Ghana, you sell it, and then you make your money. This was things back in the day, but now things are different. I know boys are still doing the game thing, but now, like literally, you are being hacked. Literally, you are being tracked, not hacked, tracked. You are literally being tracked because this is how Microsoft is gathering most of the information on most of the machines. So with this, you can literally also track it to or connect it to how most of these popular people that are boot shakers and then all these kind of guys are being tracked, because all of that is also being tracked. I remember like back in the day, concerns were how like the bank accounts and then all that kind of stuff that the monies get sent to and all that kind of stuff. Like US people used to have everything on lock. They had to have everything on lock. I remember back in the day, just like you could send something to an account and then the account would be taken down. Maybe you open a new account or you get someone to open a new account and then the account gets taken down. So I think that was when like people were like, oh, okay, find someone legit in US, someone that you know legit in US who's working in US and all that kind of stuff, and then things get sent to that person, and then that person ships things back to you, or if it's money, that person will send you your money and all that kind of stuff. So again, this is to my Game Boys out there. Game no, I ain't sisi ade aye chicha butchery kamone nyoma the game na so boys, you people for make what? You people your eye for day. You people for be very, very vigilant. If you still want to do this, then Charlie, don't use. I think maybe I would say go the Linux way, but a whole lot of people too are not comfortable with Linux. So maybe let's do a little bit of research on that. So does Linux have Microsoft's GDID? No. Microsoft's GDID. So no, Linux does not have Microsoft GDID global. The global is a proprietary persistent device level tracker built into Windows that links installations to Microsoft accounts. Okay. So then maybe you can actually use the machine without logging into Microsoft account. But then again, if you're someone using Windows 11, you've also realized that anytime you do an installation, when you get to a point, Microsoft is very persistent about the fact that you have to log in into your Microsoft account before you can use Windows. Let's also search for this. That's Windows 7 have GDID. Okay, so Windows 7 does not. Oh, okay. So then back in the day, boys were safe. So Windows 7 does not have the GDID, Global Device ID Tracker. The GDID is a newer telemetry feature introduced in modern versions of Windows to track device usage and link installation to Microsoft accounts. Whilst Windows 7 does not generate a GDID, it still uses older hardware linked keys like your product ID and the motherboard identifier is used for activation. If you are looking to learn more about tracking on older systems, would you like to know? Okay, so Windows 7 didn't have it back in the day, but it was still using things like your Mac address and all that kind of stuff, like hardware level. Okay, so to my Game Boys out there, be careful. I know you people are also kind of contributing to the economy, but hey, be careful. Just like any kind of work out there, my boys doing the galamsey too. Everyone should be careful in whatever it is that they try to do. So this is MrNiiMerGeeks, or you can call me NiiMer. Uh, I beg, if you see this video anywhere, subscribe. Um, I am really going to try and then make videos or talk about videos just like I used to do on radio, and then explain things and then do all that kind of stuff. So if you ever see this video anywhere, subscribe, like, share, do all those bunch of things. Thanks.